Okay, so Becca posted a video for the Bacon song on my Facebook fan page. I've had that stuck in my head all day long, but I guess there could be worse things.
The Top, broadcasting live to at least 3 people on Spreaker.com.
Warning, warning. The person attempting to call you is only seeking phone sex. Please remember, phone sex is the leading cause of hearing aids in America.
Mr. Pop.
Dorks of the world, unite. No, okay, listen closely. It's not WOBA, it's WABA.
Mr.
This is the Chris Top Program, broadcasting worldwide to at least 3 people.
And I am the one and only Chris Top, broadcasting live from my lavish studio apartment here in sunny Clarksville, Tennessee, with an ocean view. In the United States, I'm known as President of Dorks. In the UK, I'm known as King Dork. In many parts of the world, and I'm very ashamed of this, I'm known as the Great Dork Tater. My geek friends, they call me Dork Vader. And down under, they call me El Dorco. So how in the hell is everybody doing today? You know, I wanted to come up with a show today that was very laid back. I was off today, and very lazy day. I mean, I got up and I got an early start. I got a lot of stuff done early, and I even came back and did an earlier broadcast. I did one before noon, which is really early for me. Then I went swimming and took a nap at the pool after I got out of the water. And then I could have taken a nap in the water. That's why I got out. So then we actually went and grabbed a bite to eat, brought it back here. We ate, and then I thought, okay, I'm going to lay down on the couch for 30 minutes. And now here I am. So I was really tired because in the last couple of days, I've only had maybe 4 hours of sleep. So I'm kind of doing some catching up. So I may do another broadcast after this one. It just kind of depends on how this show goes. Now, I left a few comments on the Facebook page, and I'm hoping to get a few responses because we've been peeling back Chris Top's layers the last few days. And no, don't close your eyes. What I mean is we're trying to figure out who exactly the top is. Now, I think we've been doing pretty good, and I think the best way to really know somebody is to listen to their stories. Now, I asked a few questions on my Facebook page. This is the latest one that I left. It's, I want to hear from you. I'm prepping for a show now. Tell me about a time in your life that makes you smile. And this stuff's going to make sense because I'm going to explain a few things to you in just a little while. Also, I said this. I said, what moments stand out in your mind? Think about the snapshots that are so vivid, seems like yesterday, and it could have been 10 years or 20 years ago. That was another question, and this is the final one. And if anything jumps out in your mind, go ahead and go to my Facebook page and comment on these. When was the last time you called your best friend? Do you have the same best friend now that you had in high school or college? It's funny how we change. So that's just some food for thought. Now, when I think back at my life and I think back at snapshots, and these could be different snapshots that I remember on any given day. They really could. And one that I happened to post, and it could have been, like I said, it could have been other ones. But I posted, I remember playing basketball with my dad. Priceless now. And see, the thing is, I don't have that many memories with my father, because he passed away when I was 8 years old. So anything that I do have in my mind, it's something that I definitely want to hang on to. And there was this one time, I just thought about this. I don't know how old I was, but I went into my brother's bedroom, and he had this fan in his window, and he was gone to work, and I found some Johnson's baby powder. So I thought it would be cool to shake the powder in front of the fan, and it made this big white puffy cloud in his room, and I thought, well, this is kind of neat. So, I played around for 5 or 10 minutes, and I put the baby powder down, and I left. Well, everything was good and fine that day. And then the next morning he gets up, he takes a shower, and he goes back to his bedroom, and he walks through his bedroom with his wet feet, and he leaves these Bigfoot tracks in the powder that's on the carpet that he didn't notice the day before, but he noticed it that night, so I got in trouble. And there was this other time. Where's Paranormal Phil at? Because I thought my house was haunted. It's very late at night, and we live in an old house. And we'll talk a little bit more about my house later, but I'm living in this old house, and I closed the door to my bedroom. I don't know how late it was. I was very young. I mean, it could have been 11 o'clock, but it may have been 3 in the morning. I have no clue. So I sit down on the bed, and I notice my door handle starts to turn. Okay, now I know my brother's not home. My mom's been asleep forever. I'm the only one awake in the house, and the doorknob is turning. Now, of course, the first thing I think is not, okay, there's somebody in the house. The first thing I think is ghost. Well, because that's how the mind of a young child works. It's always got to be a ghost. So I was just petrified. I just sat there. Probably, I don't know, it seemed like it was hours, but I don't know how long it really was until I finally just laid down and I covered up because, well, that's what protects you from ghosts when you're a child is the covers. So I thought I would cover up and I would just worry myself to sleep, and that's what I did. Well, the next day, I saw our cat standing up on her hind legs, and she likes to turn doorknobs. And that's more than likely that's what it was. It probably wasn't a ghost. So what are some of your snapshots? Now, Kiss Kiss left pretty much a short story on the Facebook page, and I'll go ahead and share it with you. Now, yours doesn't have to be this long. It could be shorter, and that's fine. This is what she says. She says, I was about 12 or 13. My best friend and I were dancing inside of my sister's bedroom. She has the best sound system. That's why they were in there. So we were the only ones home at the time. We had picked up some water balloons at the Dollar General store the day before, and that's the important stuff. When you're little kids, you've got to stop and get water balloons. You always have to have those on hand. So we filled them bad boys up and put them down our shirts, acting like we had boobs. And I'm guessing that's what young girls do when they don't have boobs. She says that we were both as flat as a board at the time. So we wet our hair to make us look sexy. And we were dancing in my sister's bedroom. By this time, we had been dancing for a good 25 minutes. They were flipping their hair and trying to shake their booties, doing a really poor job at it. And out of breath, and Jackie's boob had actually popped. So that's what happens when you use water balloons as your boob. So we turned to see, and this is no joke. There were 15 guys outside the window. My brother and all of his skater friends. You know, those pervy skater boys watching. So they're laughing hard. Jackie and I stop, yell, and I think I'm smart. I try to fall to the floor fast. Not so smart. I hit my head on the desk, and my ass went into the wall. Yes, it broke a hole in the wall, and I believe that hole is still there to this day. And then Jackie, seeing this, starts laughing so hard she ends up peeing herself. And I don't think she's sharing this with Jackie. I don't think she wants Jackie to see this. So if you want to read the story yourself, you may want to go there and read it now because there's been talk of deletion. So you may want to go over there and read it now and like it now. But I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear your comments, your snapshots, your little memories of times gone by. And I'm going to share something that's a little strange, and it's a little eerie too. And you may or may not have already heard about this. But first, I want to welcome everybody to the chat. We have the lovely, vivacious Chris Topp in the chat. We have the one and only Kiss Kiss. We have Judge Holly Stalin in the chat. And if you don't know who Holly is, make sure you click on her and give her a follow right now.
Holly Stalin's words cut like a double-edged sword. On the Edge with Holly Stalin, the fastest 30 minutes on Spreaker.com.
So that's Holly Stalin. So go ahead and make sure you click on her and give her a follow. Also, we have in the chat, we have Desi. Hello, Desi. Desi, how are you? We have Sonia in the chat. Sonia's one of our regular listeners. If she's not here, I don't feel cool. And a lot of times I don't feel cool most of the time. So it's nice to have someone in the chat that makes me feel cool, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, we have Guy Shea in the chat, and I gotta say, Guy has been helping me out tremendously, promoting the show and trying to get people to follow me. And I'm up to about 40 followers now, and I've got to get to 100 before I can apply for iHeartRadio. But I'm okay with it taking a few days because I need to get some shows on here before I can reapply. But I want to thank Guy for helping me out. And he says, listening in good timing. Hello all. Good to sit back and enjoy the program. Let's see. We also have Andy Bong in the chat. And this is Andy's first time in here. Now, Andy, I've got to explain something to you. This is a place, and I've met you before, and I've talked to you, so I know you fit the criteria, but this is the place where all of the dorks come to meet. Now, if you are a dork and you're okay with this, if you're ready to step from the closet and embrace the light of your dorkhood, then Andy Bong, you are in the right place. Now, I have one other challenge for you, Andy Bong. You have to go to my Facebook fan page, and I know you know where it's at because I linked it to you on Skype. You have to go there and you have to post the dorkiest picture you have of yourself, and then you will be immortalized into the Dork Hall of Fame. And that's all it takes. You'll be there with other great dorks. And Holly, you can actually post your dorky picture there now. There's no excuse. And Kevin, I do too. I miss the longer shows as well. But if I get onto iHeartRadio, and Kevin, were you there that time that we all rented that hotel room? And I dressed up like a mummy? And that's as far as I'm going to go, because if you were there, I'll tell the story. But if you weren't there, then I won't. Because I want to feel a connection with you, Kevin. That's what I'm trying to say. So what was I even talking about? I miss the longer shows too. So if I get into iHeartRadio, they're going to take over my account and basically give me a 5-hour deal. Not that I'll ever go 5 hours, or well, not too often. But I'll probably stick to primarily hour and a half, 2-hour shows, providing I make it into iHeart. Anyway, let's see. Holly says, I can't believe I'm asking this again. But Andy, if you can, give me a follow because this is my new account. And everybody, go ahead and give each other a follow in the chat. Make sure you click on each other. Follow them. If you do a show on Spreaker, go ahead and type the word show into the chat and give it a listen. If you don't like it, you don't have to keep listening. But what I'm trying to say is just spread the Spreaker love. We've got my Red Bull drinking, loving buddy Scooter in the chat, and it's always good to see Scooter. Let's see what else we got going on here. Who else is in here? We've got Bryn in the chat. Bryn, it's good to see you. Bryn's a little strange. She's a little bit odd, but it's always nice to have her around. And Desi says, best friend stories are always the best. So Desi, I need some best friend stories from you. So why don't you post some on my Facebook page? Maybe we can go back and take a look at those. Sonia says, Sonia's so much dorkier than me. And then Music Road Radio's in the chat. Music Road, it's good to see you. And Kevin says he was there, tell away. And, even if he wasn't there, of course he's going to say that. Now, Kevin, if I miss anything or if I get anything wrong, please correct me, because I think a lot of times people think I exaggerate when I tell my stories. So I want them to realize that I don't. So this isn't even what I was planning on doing for this episode. I was going to totally get all, weird, but okay, then I'll go ahead and tell this story, and then we'll just figure something else out. We'll do another show after this one. So, my friends and I, we used to drink a lot, and I did most of my drinking early on in life, and Kevin will attest to this. I cannot hold my liquor. I cannot. And just to give you an idea, there's been times where I was in the mountains of West Virginia, and I know how that sounds. I was there snow skiing in Snowshoe, West Virginia, and I drank too many Long Island teas, and I would tend to pee green, and I would get sick. Oh, that's another story I need to tell. Okay, let's just tell these stories and get them out of the way. So I'm with Kevin and a couple of my other buddies. I believe it was Matt, Brett, Don, I think. So we all rent this room, and we didn't want to go to anybody's house because, well, we tend to trash the place whenever we go to each other's houses. I don't think anybody wanted to clean up this particular time. So we decided to rent a hotel room, and I don't think the hotel room was in my name, thank goodness. And Bacardi 151 is evil. It has gotten me into so many situations in my younger life. And see, I don't do it anymore just because I can't handle it. I really cannot handle it. So I was the Bacardi 151 guy. And I'll talk about the green pea story after this one. But I was the Bacardi 151 guy, and we're all hanging out, and it's a pretty subtle evening so far. And I don't know at what point in the fifth of the bottle, and I'm guessing it was a fifth, because we were probably sharing it. I was the primary drinker of the 151, because if I was going to get drunk, I was going to get drunk very quickly. That's just how I am. Hello, DJ Danish, how are you? So I'm going to get drunk very quickly. So I would take shots of the 151. I don't even think I chased the crap. I don't know what I was made of. And I'm thinking back now, and I'm thinking, why did I always get sick? Well, that's probably why, because I would just drink it straight out of the bottle. I wasn't Janis Joplin. So we're taking shots, we're sitting around, we're having a good time. And I don't know what possesses me to do this. I was a pretty subtle guy, I think. But there were certain times, and there were certain points, believe it or not, that I did like to be the center of attention. I know all of you were surprised. You're probably shocked. But there were times that I did like to be the center of attention. So I would... This is what I did. I stood up, and I went into the bathroom. And I'm pretty sure I just went to the bathroom to urinate. But while I was in the bathroom, I developed this plan in my mind. Now, something that you don't want to do when you're drunk yourself is, and make a note of this, please, because I don't want this to happen to you. You don't... Kevin says, not you, Chris. No way. You never wanted to be the center of attention. No, not Christoph. So I'm in the bathroom, and I start wrapping myself in toilet paper. I don't know why I did that. I was trying to be cute. I was drunk, and it seemed like it was going to be really funny at the time. Little did I know my friends had a larger plan for me when I came out. So I'm wrapping myself in toilet paper, and then the whole time I know I'm giggling, because I'm thinking, they're not expecting this. I'm going to walk out of the bathroom, and I'm going to be wrapped in toilet paper, and they're going to laugh, and then I'm going to sit down, and I'm going to drink some more. That's my plan. So I get myself wrapped up, and I don't know how into this I went. I can't remember if I was... I remember barely being able to see, so I know I had my whole head pretty well wrapped up. And I'm sure, I'm guessing it went all the way down to my ankles. So I'm thinking I was 100% wrapped in toilet paper. I mean, there may have been little spots of clothing that stuck out or whatnot. So I walk out of the bathroom, and I bet I was making the sounds. I can't say this for sure, but I was probably making the mummy sounds as I exited the bathroom. I'm a mummy, that kind of thing. Just being ridiculous. So I walk out, and my friends just kind of look at me. And I'm not seeing real good. I mean, put your hand in front of your eyes and just sort of look through the cracks of your fingers. That was my vision. So I walk out, and first off, they're not really responding. So I'm thinking, okay, I just spent all this time wrapping myself in toilet paper to get some kind of a laugh. Even a courtesy laugh would have been okay. Even a courtesy laugh. So they're not really responding. So I'm just kind of standing there. Oh, I'm the mummy. And then all of a sudden they start to chuckle. So I'm thinking, okay, they were just too drunk. And it took them a minute to realize what I was doing and the trouble that I'd went to get some kind of a laugh. So they start laughing, or chuckling, and the chuckles actually build into a great deal of laughter. And I mean, by this time, they're just rolling. And I'm thinking, yeah, this is a good idea after all. I'm dressed like the mummy in toilet paper. I'm drunk, and my buddies are laughing, so this is cool. Well, I look down, and no, my balls weren't hanging out this time. I look down, and there's this flame. And when I say flame, I'm talking about literal fire that's coming up my front side. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe I wasn't funny. This is why they're laughing. Some a-hole just set me on fire. So, and I don't know if you've ever had yourself wrapped in toilet paper, but you can only imagine how quickly toilet paper catches on fire. How quickly the fire expands on the toilet. So I'm freaking out. All right, so I'm drunk. I don't have, my senses aren't 100%. I'm on fire, and I'm wrapped in something that's very, very flammable. But when I breathe, remember, I've been drinking 151. When I breathe, had my breath hit the fire, it probably would have looked like dragon breath. So I freak out. I forget what they tell me in school. You know, when you're on fire, you've got to stop, drop, and roll. Kevin, were you guys even worried that I was just going to just die? I mean, I thought I was going to die. And these are the type friends I have, ladies and gentlemen. This is why I turned This is why I turned out the way that I did. So the first thing I do is I go outside, and that was a bad idea because it was kind of windy outside, or that's how I remember it. So I go outside, and then the fire tends to wrap around me, and now it's coming at my backside too, and I'm like, I'm going to die. I'm going to die at this hotel. I'm going to burn up, and then my friends are just going to leave. They're going to let me die, and then they're going to leave. So there's nothing going on outside. I can't do anything. So why I didn't stop, drop, and roll outside, I have no idea. So I go back into the hotel room, and I stop, drop, and roll there. Now, and happy Friday to you as well, Billy. And Billy's Thoughtologist in the chat. And we'll spread some Spreaker love here in a minute. So I walk back into the hotel room, and I stop, drop, and roll, because then I remembered what to do. So all this toilet paper is on flames, and it's falling from my body, and it's burning into the carpet. So there's little pieces of toilet paper that has fused itself with the carpet. But I did put myself out. I saved my life, not a single burn on me. So what do you think I did after that? Well, first thing we did was we pulled one of the beds over the burn because we didn't want anybody to notice. So we figured, well, they'll never notice the bed's been moved. So we'll just pull that over and that's how drunk people think. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go sit down now. I'm going to take a few more shots because I almost died. I mean, it's one of those situations where you're going to sit there and you're going to, your whole life flashes before you, and you're going to sit there and reminisce for a little while about how you almost died and how you barely escaped death. And that's what I had done. I had barely escaped death. And there was one other time I barely escaped death, too. And I have never told this on air. And this is a quick story. I'm driving in my car, not paying attention. I drive over these train tracks. As soon as I drive over the train tracks, I look in my rearview mirror. There's a train going by. A second later, I would have been a pancake. No joke. I stopped my car and I puked. I did. I stopped my car after I realized what I did and I puked. Speaking of puking, so I'm sitting there at the table, and we are... Isn't it amazing how I tell that life or death story just like in 2 seconds, and all these other stories take me an hour? So we're sitting there and we're reminiscing about life and how good life is and how we're all buddies and we're never going to lose touch and blah, blah, blah. We love each other and blah, blah, blah. And so the next morning, and this happened to me so many times, because I was the one that could never handle his liquor. I was the one that could never, ever handle his liquor. So I was usually the one left behind. My friends did not have the Marine mentality. See, in our situations, it was okay to leave your friends behind. So they left me there, and I was so sick. I was sick as a dog. And all I could think about that morning was, okay, I've got to get out of this bed. My friends are gone. I'm alone in this hotel room that's halfway burnt down. I've got to get out of this room before the cleaning lady shows up. So what do? I get up, I go puke, and then I get in the bathtub. Don't know why I got in the bathtub. Have no idea. I had a hangover, and I thought maybe the bath would help. So, and I've already had to throw away my underclothes because you can only imagine. I'm not going to get into great detail with that. So I'm laying in the bathtub, and this is what I hear. Room service. I'm like, no, I'm good. Give me 10 minutes. Okay, no problem. So she leaves. And I'm sitting there in the bathtub, and I've got to get out of this bathtub. And I couldn't remember if the hotel room was in my name or not, because I was thinking, okay, if it's not in my name, I'm just going to lie here for half the day. They can charge me for an extra few hours, whatever. So 10 minutes go by. Room service. Okay, no, really, I'm good, or whatever. They might not have been saying room. I guess they were saying cleaning lady. I don't know what they were saying, but anyway, I eventually got out of the bathtub, put my clothes on, and I drove home. And on the way home, I think I maybe stopped 3 or 4 times and puked. I mean, I was just deathly sick. I mean, I almost died twice that night because, well, the fire almost killed me, and then I think alcohol poisoning could have been a bad thing. Now, there was another time, and I'm just going to tell another drunk story and get these out of the way, just because when I come back with the second show, we're going to take a different direction, I promise. So I go to Snowshoe, West Virginia, and when I was younger, I liked to ski. I mean, skiing was something that was a lot of fun for me. So we all packed up, and when we pull into Snowshoe, West Virginia, it was beautiful. It was just like one of those little snow globes, because it just started snowing. The snowflakes were just really big, and it was really beautiful. So we get there, and we spend several days just skiing our hearts out, and at nights, we would tend to party pretty hard because, well, I was young. Matter of fact, I was too young. I think I was 20. But at the time, it was easy in those types of situations to lie about your age and get into bars. So, not saying that I condone that, but that's what I did. I'd like to welcome Chaz to the chat. Chaz, it's good to see you. So anyway, I get into the bar, and my friend says, hey, why don't you try Long Island teas? They're really good. So I thought, okay, I love tea. I'll try Long Island teas. I drank so many Long Island teas, it's unreal. I've got to hurry this story up, and I hate hurrying stories up. I really do. But I have to get to the point. So I ended up being in the buns contest that night at the bar. I didn't win. I did not win. There was some other guy that had better buns than me, and he won. And luckily, we were staying in the hotel where the party was at. So I get back to the room. Don't know how I got back to the room. And for some reason, when you're drunk, it's just always a good idea, I think, to sleep on the floor. Just the floor seems comfortable. So I lay down on the floor, and during the night, somewhere in there, I got very sick. So I get up, I go to the bathroom, or I try to go to the bathroom, but the door's shut, and it's like it was locked, and I'm guessing somebody else was in there. So I couldn't get into the bathroom. So then I thought, okay, I've got to go outside. And remember, I told you it was snowing. So I go over to the deck, and they've got this sliding glass door. So I'm trying to open this sliding glass door, and I swear to you, it's froze shut. Couldn't make it outside. Couldn't get to the bathroom. All I could do was I threw up on this sliding glass door. And it was really kind of a beautiful thing, because when the vomit actually hit the glass, it spread out. Like one of those, what were those things that you used to put up to your eye and you would turn it and it would make those little designs? What was a kaleidoscope? It looked like that. So the next morning we woke up and everybody was like, what is this stuck to the glass on the, what is this? It's kind of beautiful, and it's kind of sick at the same time. So anyway, those are all the drinking stories I'm ever going to tell you. When I come back, the story's going to take a different direction. We're going to talk about something a little bit more serious. Give me 5 to 10 minutes, and we'll turn this mother out. I do not, nor will I ever take any of you for granted, because there are a million things you could do, but you choose to listen to me. That makes me feel wonderful. It really does. Until I broadcast again, please remember, life is good and I am gone.
You have been exposed to the Chris Top program. Tune in next, yeah,
I don't have a schedule.
right.